Welcome to the Megillah Project.
One story, many angles.
Come learn with us.
What is the most famous pasuk, the most famous verse in Megillah Esther? I would say that it's chapter 8, verse 16. LaYehudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason vikar. The Jews enjoyed light and gladness, happiness and honor. Why is this verse so well known? Well, it could be because it gets chanted call and response style by the person leaning Megillah Esther. And that does help more and more people in the Jewish community around the world really know that pasuk because we all say it in response to the person chanting Megillah Esther. But I think the real reason it's so well known is because it's actually one of the verses that is said in Havdalah. So not only do we say it every year when we're chanting Megillah Esther, but actually Jews around the world say it every single Saturday night as a way to mark the end of Shabbat and the beginning of a new week. So I want to take a moment and think about where in the actual story of Esther this pasuk appears. This pasuk appears in chapter 8, after the entire story unfolds and the whole curse is reversed and the topsy-turvy question of who is going to be killed and who is going to survive, who is going to be riding on the horse with the crown and who is going to be leading that person around ashamed, who is going to hang on the gallows and who is going to be victorious. And we just read a few verses before that Mordechai has succeeded, Queen Esther has succeeded, Ahasuerus has reversed the curse, and LaYehudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason vikar. Such a triumphant moment. But this verse comes before the other side of the coin that we'll read in chapter 9. What happens when the Jews are victorious? What has to happen in turn? Who has to be hanged? Who has to lead the other around on the horse? Who has to suffer? That's the part of the story we don't teach our kids quite as often. That's the part we don't learn in Hebrew school. That's the part we don't sing about in Havdalah. So I come back to this question, why do we include this pasuk in Havdalah? I do wonder if part of the reason that we do, and part of why we say, Kain tieh lanu in Havdalah, after we say this line, yes, may it be so for us too, is because in that very moment where we read about this in Esther, we haven't yet had to come to terms with the repercussions and the realities of our victory. In that moment in chapter 8, we're still reveling in the luck and in the good fortune of the curse of this story being reversed. And yet in chapter 9, we're just reminded of the capriciousness of life and the reality that maybe in this story in the end it wasn't us, but it could always just be us. When we make Havdalah, we're taking a moment to reflect on the Shabbat that ended and look forward to the week ahead. Maybe in that moment we're saying, LaYehudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason vikar, joy and light and gladness and honor. And we're taking a moment to breathe that before we have to face the far more painful and difficult realities of what is to come next. And to that breath, to that gratitude, to that reflection, we can say, Kain tieh lanu. Yes, may it be for us too. And my hope is that this Purim, in this strange, strange year, in this strange moment, before we dive into the next chapter and face the reality of what's so painful and difficult and too hard to teach our children sometimes, that we're able to say for a moment, Kain tieh lanu, this joy, this gladness, yes, may it be so for us as well. So I'm going to finish by sharing a very well-known melody for this pasuk, this verse, written by Noam Katz. If you're watching this at home, you might know this melody, maybe you don't, but now you will, that we can sing every week in Havdalah. We can also sing in Purim. LaYehudim hayta ora v'sason v'simcha v'ikar. LaYehudim hayta ora Satadam, Hirinam Vaya, Hirinam Vaya, Hirinam Vaya.